a lot of places, it's just they purchase, they resell. I want to help people understand, how do we make sure and ensure that you have the best product that's not contaminated and also has the potency listed. You know, we hear sometimes headlines that a vitamin C that said 1,000 milligrams only has 200. That is not ever going to be found at Nutrition World. Why is that? Because we demand testing. We know the companies backwards and forwards. Amazon has destroyed a lot of the image of really high quality because they're willing to sell anything. The mainstream companies, they do backflips to be very, very quality oriented. And then secondly, the myth that we're an unregulated industry. Let me tell you, after 46 years, I've lost count the amount of times the FDA has come into our store, either to get products to test, which they've all passed, or there's been recalls. Every department of selling anything will have a recall. And we probably had probably 100 or a few hundreds over the 46 years. And we completely, absolutely honor, and we take the product off. It comes back fixed or whatever. So the FDA does a good job of regulating what we do. Now, the problem is when you have people like Amazon, they can sell products and then they go out of business, these small companies. They're just another one right after them. The FDA doesn't have time to catch all these products.
Right.
We should be purchasing from local or corporate people who really know what they're doing, and that's not happening.
I mean, I don't know if you would call yourself, Katie, a nutrition store owner, manager, or researcher, because you kind of are doing all of it. Research is a big part of what you do.
Oh, absolutely. So before we'll sell something in our store, they have to show us some type of certificate of analysis, which I actually brought a couple here. This is one of our favorite products we sell. It's a testosterone boosting product. But this goes into the how much of the active ingredient that's listed on the bottle, how much is actually there at time of delivery at the expiration date, which is really cool. So you know how much you're getting. You're not having to think, is it actually there? And then even deeper, certificate of analysis of this shows, is there any heavy metals? Are there any yeast, mold? Is there salmonella? Is there residue? Is there mercury? I mean, all these things, and it's signed off. And this is actually every batch from this company I'm specifically speaking of is tested in this way.
So here's how my consumer brain is interpreting what you're saying. So that's your wheelhouse, and then my eyes kind of glaze over because that's too in the weeds for me. But you do the weeding, so I can just buy.
That's what we're trying to say is, like, you can trust us when you come into our store that we've done this research, because we don't expect a consumer to go and do all this. So we just have brought a couple examples here of great brands, lab tested. They test for over 150 contaminants. They're testing potency, strength, and purity. This company has all DNA verified strains of bacteria. So when you're really wondering what type of bacteria is in this probiotic, you go and you swipe the QR code and you're able to go to the data now. And that's the amazing thing about technology. We can get it so quick.
Okay, the other thing that y'all have done is you've expanded, not just with inventory, but with the staffing. So your turn, Dr. Kurt Deering, because you are a clinical pharmacist,
Yes.
which I'm understanding now is kind of like you're a nurse practitioner in a way. You're a hands-on approach with the clients who come your way.
Clinical pharmacists have been known for dealing more with patients, hands-on, versus your typical, you think of a pharmacist in a retail pharmacy. So we usually work more in line with physicians and with them and seeing patients, running specialty clinics.
So when people come in, I mean, a lot of people are frequent flyers with y'all. They've been coming to you for many of those 46 years, a lot of them. So they almost can pop in and know right where they're going to go or ask you a quick question and get a pretty quick answer. But for some people, the self-serving idea is not a good one. So that's where having people like Kurt,
And so we have 37 staff members, and you know, we focus on that service every single day. That's the most important thing we do: educate, empower. We don't treat medical conditions. We empower you when you have a question, then you take that and you decide what to do with that.
I was looking for a multivitamin the other day, and like probably most people, I was sitting at home in the morning with a cup of coffee pre-day thinking, oh, I've got to go get a multivitamin. And I did a little Google research because I know what y'all have said, that everything is not equal. So I Googled your website, and do you know what really stood out to me? Y'all try it. It was something like 5,000 reviews. You know how it pops up on a Google thing? And it was 5 stars. So it wasn't like 82 reviews and 5 stars. It was an insane number. And 5 stars.
We're very proud of
like
that.
99+%.
Yeah. I mean, it was really interesting though to watch that, and I even was curious, and I clicked on the responses from people, and it was all types, all over the place, not one type of review.
So when it comes to the safety, which is kind of what we're talking about here, I kind of know the pharmaceutical world and the nutraceutical world, and if you compare the two and run the numbers, there are over 1 million visits a year to the emergency room for pharmaceuticals. Only about 22 to 23,000 for nutraceuticals. So, and what we're up to like 68% of people nowadays take nutraceuticals. So it's a good number of people. The number that actually get admitted to the hospital from that, you're looking at about 15% of the pharmaceutical taking patients that end up in the ER get admitted, so about 150,000. And if you look at the green pharmacy, the nutraceutical, you're talking about roughly 2,000 getting admitted to the hospital. Huge difference.
Right.
Staggering difference between the two, though, is the number of deaths. Virtually none in the nutraceutical world. Over 250,000 people die every year from pharmaceuticals. Now, there's inherently more of a risk in anything that's synthetic and chemical.
Right.
That's why they do have more regulatory behind them.
Yeah.
They have more oversight. They have more reporting systems involved, but they have to because they're inherently kind of dangerous versus we're inherently safe.
So I have to let you leave it there, but I need to show them where to find you. Is that fair?
Perfect.
Nutrition World
Yes.
on Lee Highway. NutritionW.com is their website.